My name is Jo May. I'm a senior occupational therapist and I work on a community rehabilitation team called the Preventing Dependency Team based here at the Royal Hampshire County Hospital. I'm from Rotherham in South Yorkshire. I moved to Winchester 8 years ago when I applied for and got a job as a basic grade. The reason I chose the job here was because it was a good basic grade rotation post that gave me a broad experience to begin my career on. My team that I work for, the Preventing Dependency Team, is a community rehabilitation team. The idea is that we prevent admission to hospital and also promote early discharge from hospital. We take patients from 3 areas: the wards in hospital, accident and emergency, and also the community. We're now very lucky because we've got nursing input into the team, and in one area of the team we've also got social work and carer input, which means that we can provide a very broad package in order to give the patients the best chance they have of regaining the independence they need to stay at home. It's a very exciting team to work for because things come in very fast and you never know what you're going to get. The idea is that we can gradually pull out because we're getting somebody to the point where they can do it themselves again. And it's exactly what I trained to do occupational therapy for. What I like most about living in Winchester, it's an assortment of things, I think. It's the fact that we are in a city, but it's not a big city, and the fact that we can get out into the countryside within 5 minutes. I think the countryside in Hampshire is beautiful. I love the fact that my job is a community job, so I get to drive around in the countryside a lot, which is just great. There's a reasonable amount to do in Winchester. There's an excellent leisure centre with good facilities. I swim there every week. They've got a wide range of other things available. They've got circuits and exercise classes. They've got a kiddies pool. There's a badminton club and all sorts of things down there, which is great. I like shopping in Winchester. They've got some nice little shops and some very nice little coffee shops. And there's lots of nice places to meet people for lunch. And there's a good selection of pubs out in the villages to walk out to. Winchester's a very historical city as well. There's oodles of places to go and visit, from Roman sites all the way through. There's the cathedral is packed with loads and loads of sort of little bits of information and bits of interesting things to see. You've got an incredible array of architecture, which makes the city look very beautiful when you're walking around it. This is Kingsgate, one of the original entrances to Winchester itself, and this is the entrance to the cathedral. The advantages of living in Winchester are that it is only an hour's train ride away from London. You can get slap bang into the middle of London and all the facilities, obviously, that London's got to offer. You're also only half an hour away from Southampton, which is another big city that's got a lot of things happening. And I married my husband here, and this is where we live, so we both enjoy living in Winchester.
My name's Anne Green. I'm a staff nurse on the Rehab Development Unit. I've worked there now for about 4 months. We're just generally looking after stroke patients and seeing them from the acute stage through to rehabilitation and hopefully sending them home. I really enjoy the job. I enjoy the challenges and find it very interesting. It's nice to feel part of a team again. Before I was doing agency and bank nursing, and it's nice to feel part of the team, and yes, I enjoy it. The people I work with are really nice. They've sort of taken time to show me the ropes and explain things to me. I never feel frightened of asking them questions or asking them how to do things. I moved to Winchester because of my husband's job, and we looked at houses in Farnham but found they were very expensive. So I decided to move further south. And I joined a nursing agency in Winchester and worked at various residential homes around about. We decided that this is where we would like to stay, because the children are coming up to that time of life where they need a stable education. The schools are very good around here. Before we moved here, my husband researched the schools on the internet, and we found that the secondary school, Perrins Community School, also was one of the best schools in Hampshire, and the most improved school in Hampshire. So we sent the children there, and they've had fantastic GCSE results over the past few years. I love living here because I like the rural aspect of it. I'm a very outdoor person. One of my favourite pastimes is walking the dog in the woods and around the country lanes. I've also started horse riding because that's a very big thing around here, and I really enjoy it. We live very close to Alton, which is a small market town. When I go into town, I usually see someone I know, so I quite like the friendliness of the place. There's quite a few things to do around the Alton area. We're not that far from the New Forest, really. It takes us about 40 minutes drive down to the New Forest, so we like to go down there. We're not far from the coast. We tend to go down to Leon Solent and Stokes Bay. My daughter Sophie goes horse riding. She has riding lessons once a week. In the summer holidays, she does the stables she learns at do all sorts of activities, and she goes to Pony Club camp. She has a horse to look after for the week. They do gymkhanas and horse and hound type activities. Stuart, my 14-year-old son, has joined the Sea Cadets in Basingstoke.
We'll keep it fairly tall.
The Basingstoke Sea Cadets are very enthusiastic, and because of my husband's, or Peter's, previous military service, they asked him if he would be willing to become chairman of the Sea Cadets. It's nice to feel we belong somewhere, and yes, we enjoy living here, and we'll probably live here for quite a few years yet.
I'm Robert Crouch. My title at the hospital is MLSO, which is Medical Laboratory Scientific Officer. I work in the microbiology department, and I have been doing so for going on 4 years now. In the microbiology department, we study microorganisms. That's what the name suggests. Basically, we home in on bacteriology side, but we do fecal parasitology as well as doing some blood work with viruses and things. We get a variety of different specimens from around the body, including eyes, noses, throats, feces and urine samples, and we generally put them onto agar plates and see what grows, and then decide whether or not if we identify any pathogenic organisms in there, i.e. organisms that can cause harm to the body, and then depending on what the consultant says or what we believe is significant, then we'll go on and do antibiotic sensitivity testing as well to tell the doctors what will work to kill it. It's fantastic. The people there are absolutely great. We get on really well. It's like a big family. We get lots of work done and we have a lot of fun doing it. So it's fantastic. Yeah. Well, I was born here, but actually I live in Chandler's Ford, which is about 6 miles out, and I have to travel here every day. I like Winchester because it's nice and quiet. I love the way everything looks around here. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. I like the fact that it's not as busy as a normal town is, but it can get nice, from a social point of view. You can go out and have a really good time. There's lots of people around, but during the day it's just a nice place to wander around and take in the scenery. When I go out with my friends, we tend to either stick around Winchester or we go to Southampton. Winchester we tend to go to the pubs because there are lots of pubs around, but Southampton we tend to do a bit more. There's a lot more high street pubs, and we also often go bowling. Millbrook is definitely the best one. It's the biggest and it's the best, so we go there. There's lots of activities inside, not just bowling. You can do laser quests and other things as well. There's a nice bar and things, so we tend to go there. I go to the gym quite a bit. I have a friend that I go with usually, but I can go on my own sometimes. Try and keep a bit fit, and there's lots of places around that we can do it. There's one in Eastleigh that I go to, and I also come down to Winchester sometimes, go to the gym there. I quite like cardiovascular things, the treadmills and bikes, but I also do some free weights as well, just to try and build up some muscle bulk. You've got some of the coastal areas. You've got even Bognor Regis will be in that kind of 30 miles out or so. And we can go to the Isle of Wight. That's a good trip out. Obviously there's all the local family things, Poulton's Park and Marwell Zoo. Not only is it a nice place to come just for the beauty of it and the nice country walks and the old classic pubs, but it's also a great place for the younger people as well, because there's lots of places you can go to socialise. Most of the pubs these days around Winchester open till 1 or 2 in the morning, so you can socialise a bit later on, which is what the prejudices are. Oh no, Winchester's an old place, they all close at 11. So there's lots of things going on all the time. Winchester, the place to be.
I've been here for about 14 years. I came here as a radiographer in charge of angiography, and since then I've also been involved in student training, and I've now done management so that I can be the assistant manager. In the main department we have about 20 radiographers, 10 helpers, 10 admin and clerical, but there's also the breast screening department and Andover as well.
And this is actually my second spell back at Winchester. I qualified about 2 years ago, stayed for about 15 months here in Winchester, and then I went travelling around the world, and I've just recently come back to start work here again.
I've only been doing MR for about 6 months, so I'm still in the sort of learning stages, and having only 1 week and 3 in there, it takes a bit longer to get to grips with it. I also do CT, I do nights, I work in theatre, I do screening. I do pretty much everything there is. The only modality we don't have here is nuclear medicine, but that might happen in the future, so a bit of everything really.
The size of the hospital allows us to do an awful lot of variety of examinations, but it also means that we have a relatively small number of staff, and I can control those staff to rotate through all the varied examinations, so they get a lot of variety. They don't have a chance to be bored.
It's a community kind of hospital, I'd say. Everybody's there to help you. It's that kind of atmosphere, very laid back, and it's a good place to begin your training, I'd say. You get a good chance to get around the areas that you need to be in, and it gives you a good basis for experience to build on.
Certainly in our department, all of the consultants are really nice people. They make the job easy. There isn't one who you think, oh God, I've got to work with Dr. So-and-so today. They're all very, very human, which is something of a rarity perhaps in this sort of profession. So that helps. There's always, you don't feel that there's someone's door you can't go and knock on and ask them a question. All of them don't mind being interrupted, to be shown a film or to be asked something. And that helps the relaxed atmosphere that we have.
But everyone seems to mix in, and we're all here to do the same kind of job.
We have monthly staff meetings, and everyone's involved and asks for their opinions, and I think that brings about an ownership of the department. They're not just coming to work for the money at the end of the month, they're also coming to work because they own it. It's part of their life.
Within radiography at the moment, we're sort of taking on role extension, which is an important part of our job. In the department here, we do things like barium enemas, where the people will be trained up to actually do these. These are roles normally undertaken by radiologists, and it's an important thing for us that we do that. I've been post-qualified 2 years almost now, and that's a sort of time limit where you're looking maybe for promotion to a senior position. And the department here are very good like that. When they do have positions available and you get to a certain time after you've qualified, then they will look at that and decide on whether you're okay to move on, really.
Radiographers can also go up through the ranks by an internal promotion system that we have adopted in the department. The main department includes MRI, CT and ultrasound, and the radiographers can rotate through all the areas, even as far as going to Andover. So they have a huge variety of work that they can become involved in.
There's going to be a lot of things changing over the years. I particularly enjoy working within accident and emergency trauma type radiography, and I'd like to see some more improvement in that kind of area, and hopefully take on some extra roles there as well with reporting of films from accident and emergency, taking over again the casualty doctor's role, and along those kind of lines really, that's what interests me.
Yeah, I do enjoy my work. I think to have been here for nearly 3 years, there's got to be something that keeps you here. I think half of it's the other people. It's a nice, friendly department. There aren't too many of us, and everyone's good friends, and that helps. But yeah, I do enjoy my work, and I think the other aspect that makes it more enjoyable is the variety, the fact that I'm not just doing A&E day in, day out.
People are always very reluctant to leave the department. They may have to leave for family reasons, or sometimes it's for career development. But usually, quite often, people come and stay much longer than they initially intended to because they don't want to leave. Working in Winchester means that you will have instant friends. There's a huge feeling of comradeship and loyalty. You'll also have to work hard, and there's a lot of training and courses that you'll be sent on. So the moral of the story is work hard and play hard.
Come and work in Winchester, we have a laugh.
Well, my role is to really look after the surgical and orthopaedic wards and the associated specialist nurses and our team of night sisters.
I'm the lead nurse for stroke care, so I'm one of the team that leads the stroke service within Winchester and Eastleigh. I work very closely in a multi-professional team, physios, OTs, doctors, nurses, and I'm, I suppose, the senior sister would have been the old title.
Being a deputy charge nurse, which is a new role which I've just been appointed into, means you're a coordinator of not only patients but also staff, looking out for staff welfare, and also being an advocate for patients, working with lots of other people within the multidisciplinary team, physios, OTs, social workers, and really just being a coordinator and being a team leader, and showing leadership skills, and developing people, staff on the ward, and being a friend and, you know, a colleague as well.
I'm a senior staff nurse on the medical assessment unit here at Winchester. We are in effect medical casualty, and we have admitted to our wards people having heart attacks, strokes, drug overdoses, and a multitude of diverse illnesses.
Well, I came from a very large inner London teaching hospital, and I came down here to do a similar type of role. However, what attracted me to come down here was that it is a smaller hospital, although we're a reasonable size, and it meant that actually you could make changes, you could improve things for the better. We have an excellent nursing directorate headed up by a very good director of nursing who's been looking at lots of innovation and moving nursing on, and I felt very much more that rather than just getting stuck in the day-to-day operational issues, we're able to actually improve quality of care for patients.
Yes, I have a very clear vision for nursing, and I think it can be very simply put that we have a reputation internally and externally for our innovations in practice and providing high quality of care. We have a very good reputation for how we look after our staff and look after our nurses. And we have a very good reputation for nursing research and nursing development.
I think I've become more confident in my practice. I've moved up a grade from when I started back again. I'm given the opportunity of running the unit from time to time, which is great because 14 years ago I was a sister for a time, and it's nice to be back on that sort of level.
The stuff that we are doing here is actually more cutting edge than it has been in previous hospitals that I've worked in. I think we're actually looking at, you know, bringing nursing on leaps and bounds, and that's what I think is good.
We're actually improving patient care and making a difference with our service, and that obviously gives us a big buzz.
I think I would encourage anybody to come to Winchester because you get a lot of support when you're new. You get a lot of encouragement from all members of staff, not just senior ones, but people who are junior to you, even in rank, from students.
I qualified 3 years ago. I did a year's staff development programme, which was a 6-month programme on 2 generalised wards, really.
No matter how short we are, training and developing continues. And if you start with that philosophy, we just don't cancel study days. Members of my team step in and do extra work to make sure that their colleagues can get to their study days.
So at the present moment I'm doing a degree in respiratory care, which I'm halfway through. That was funded by the Barbary Scholarship from the Trust. I get study leave from work, which gives me the chance to be able to do my degree.
I see this absolutely key, we've done a lot of work in this trust to provide a wide range of training and development opportunities for nursing. We've got a very comprehensive leadership programme. We're ahead of the national targets in taking nurses through this programme. We cover all grades of staff. We have a very good induction programme that's been very well evaluated by nurses who've started in the trust. We have a comprehensive preceptorship programme for new nurses, and we've also got opportunities for our E-grade and F-grade nurses as well as our senior nurses.
The reason I came back was because my children were of an age where they didn't need their mother constantly around, and I wanted to do something for myself. And having enjoyed nursing the first time, I thought I'd give it a second go.
I went to A&E for 6 months just to get some acute critical experience, and from there I applied for an E-grade position on my current ward. Whilst I was doing that, whilst I was working on the wards, I did my EMB 998 teaching and clinical practice.
One of the things that has been very popular is that we've introduced nursing scholarships this year, and some of our nurses have had an opportunity to travel abroad and to travel to other areas in this country to look at excellence in practice and bring that back to our organisation. And we'll be continuing that now because it has been so popular. I'd like to think, and we're working really hard at this, that we like to deal with our staff as individuals, that they're not just a number, that they are important to us. We do know who they are. We do demonstrate that we value them and that we do support them through different stages of their career.
I have a voice that's listened to. I make a difference. If I see a problem with our care, I can discuss it with our team and we change it. It's as simple as that.
You know, ring a department and there's always somebody there, you know, you can talk to. So you're talking to a friend, where I know lots of people work in larger hospitals that everybody's alien and then you only need somebody on your ward. You know, if people have, you know, when we're short staffed, people are always happy to help out, you know, and I think that's because we, you know, we work as, it's more like a large family rather than, you know, and a large team rather than, you know, we're nurses and you're doctors and, you know, we're porters, you know, we all work together as a team.
Well, I think as a nurse nowadays you can pick and choose where you work. I think it's important when people come here and actually have a look round, meet people, feel the atmosphere, you know, there's a very open culture, very friendly people. They actually choose to come here, and we find that by actually bringing people into the site, they want to stay.
If you want to work for a trust that will listen to you and your thoughts and your ideas will make a difference and be listened to, come to Winchester. If you want to work for a trust that is trying hard to produce evidence-based care and doing the best for their patients, giving the right care at the right time, come to Winchester.
We could certainly offer you excellent experience, and in a variety of areas. My particular area is a surgery and orthopaedics, and we could look at that. Also, the training is second to none. There's plenty of opportunity for professional short courses, for degree or master's-led courses. Our in-house training is of a high standard, and we very much support people, and that's actually, we encourage people to do this type of training rather than just sit on a roll. We can also offer you secondments to other areas to look at skills so that you're not getting caught in one area, so that for your own personal career, we can develop that on within the hospital and look so that you can progress for yourself.
It's the first area I've worked in where I know that the Director of Nursing is well known by all of my team. And she's known for positive reasons, not because she's the boss.
Do come and meet us. I personally welcome meeting people who are interested in working in the Trust. Look at the opportunities we've got to offer. We are a very busy, very dynamic district general hospital. We have a range of specialist areas that nurses can work in. We encourage secondments, we encourage career development, we encourage you to take different opportunities to get to your career goal. We are a friendly and supportive team. So do come along and meet us. We'd like to share more with you.
I'm the Pathology Services Manager, and I'm responsible for the general management of the whole of the pathology service, which covers budget, staff and service delivery, and quality aspects as well.
My name is Robert Crouch. I'm an MLSO at the microbiology department in Royal Hampshire County Hospital, Winchester. We deal with microorganisms. We're trying to isolate pathogens from different sites of the body. We get a variety of different specimens in.
Well, at present I'm a trainee, So I'm training to be a biomedical scientist in haematology. Basically, the job as an MLSO or biomedical scientist involves putting through the bulk of the work, such as for blood counts, which come from GP surgery. We do some veterinary work and some private work as well. Coagulation screens, which is how you blood clots, and also working transfusion as well, which includes blood grouping, blood group serology, and issuing blood and blood group products.
Well, the pathology service serves mid-Hampshire, comes from Tidworth Plain right across to near Portsmouth, and we are in the business of diagnosing disease, monitoring the treatment and cure of disease through the investigation of samples sent in to us by clinicians and GPs primarily, but other health professionals as well.
And I looked it up from books when I was at school and things like that and got quite interested in it. Did work experience here when I was 14 and then again when I was about 18. I think I did it for a third time as well, but I'm not sure about that. And then I got so interested I went on to do degree courses. I did an H&D in applied biology first and then went on to do the degree which allowed me to become an MLSO.
So I think I've learnt so much in almost a year. This time last year I would never ever have seen myself doing what I'm doing now in a million years.
I've been in my present role 7 years, coming up to 8 years, and I suppose the major change in all that time has been the advances in technology, the increased levels of automation, and also to meet the different disease patterns that have occurred in that time as well. I think the other name of the game is actually speed. We've got a lot faster doing things that used to take hours, now take minutes. Those that took days now take hours. It's just getting faster and faster.
I think the training and opportunity developments in this job are absolutely excellent. I've come in as a trainee already having a degree and actually have to do a degree which is approved by the Council of Board Supplementary to Medicine in order to become a state registered biomedical scientist. As when I came into the job, they were very short-staffed, but I immediately got assigned a practice tutor which sort of helped me through my work, and I get to go to university 1 day a week to do this degree. And they're all very willing to answer my hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of questions that I ask all the time. I think I'm a real pest, but everyone's always really willing to help.
And to use the cliche, the appliance of science fascinated me. And the fact that we were applying it to human disease was the sort of main motivation for me going into this particular profession.
I like the job because it's very hands-on. We always have to get the specimens in, plate them up onto agar plates, whatever, grow up the organism, and then have a look to see what grew, and then decide which of those organisms we see is a pathogen or not. So you always get surprises. Sometimes you get a microbiologist bug, a microbiology bug bacteria in a site that you think, what's it doing there, you know? And then you have to search out and find out why it's there and what it's susceptible to and try and ID it properly, and it can be quite exciting sometimes.
I think we have a centre of excellence. Most people within the area recognise that we are one of the most responsive services, pathology services around. We've been innovative in terms of putting in things like community phlebotomy schemes, which was the first in the south of England. We have the state-of-the-art technology, so we are at the forefront of service provision. But I also think that we're actually probably second to none in terms of supporting our staff. The chairman at our annual review said that we were the jewel in the crown of the trust. That's something I'm very sort of proud of, and everybody in the service still quotes it this day and age. Probably is in line with the 3-star status the trust has now as well.
Being a training hospital, Winchester offers a lot of courses that you can go on. I myself have been on a week-long parasitology course, which was fantastic. I've also been on numerous day releases to London, Colindale.
In fact, we call it education, training and development. The three go together as far as I'm concerned. You can't have one without the other. Each department has their own training officer who is actually responsible for implementing our strategy and our policy of supporting all the staff in all grades. I'd like to see the department maintaining its course. It's renowned for quality and it's renowned for its responsiveness and its friendliness, and I'd like to see that maintained. Another part of the strategy in terms of retaining staff or even attracting staff, we've always operated a flexible approach to staffing, contracted hours, etc. We've used job share for years. We use flexible time, flexi working.
The laboratory to me was quite appealing at Winchester because it was a very small laboratory, and I'd rather work in a smaller place than a larger place because I think that it's more close-knit and you really need to work as a team.
Because I'm a people person, I like to influence events and support staff in their work environment. We can't deliver the service without the staff, and they have to be motivated, they have to be competent, and they must enjoy the job, and also be in a friendly working environment. And that's something that I've fostered and pushed and ensured that it's been the case.
I've also had an opportunity to learn phlebotomy skills and go out on the wards to bleed the patients. And at present I'm training in intensive care to take the blood out of arterial lines, which I don't think in a larger hospital I would have had the opportunity to do because it would have been a completely separate department and wouldn't have been linked to haematology at all. So I wouldn't have gained that skill at all.
So we can have lab assistants switching into trainee roles and going on to do biomedical science degrees. We also have biomedical scientists now going into clinical scientist roles, being advanced practitioners. Again, that's sort of very innovative.
I visited all the wards, including intensive care, and the staff are really friendly and accommodating. Quite often we need help with patients to move them into the right positions or someone to hold an arm for us, and they're always really willing to help us. So I find everybody really friendly, and the staff I work with are brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I couldn't wish for nicer people to work with at all. And actually learning on the job is a brilliant idea, and going day release to Portsmouth University is an excellent idea because there's nothing like learning practically and then just doing the theory sort of after you've done the practical side. It's really good.
I find that Winchester is a lot more friendly. The workload isn't so great, so you actually have a time to actually bond with your colleagues rather than split off into your separate sections and you do your work and that's all you do all day and then you go home. Here you get a chance to actually, you know, interact with everybody and find out their opinions on things because the people around here are just fantastic. So that's why I say come to Winchester for that kind of thing. The trust itself is a very friendly place to work.
The reason I personally enjoy working here is because it gives me an opportunity to serve patients, not with my role directly, but through the staff within the pharmacy department and the wider organisation.
I'm a pharmacist at the hospital, it's my main job, but I've been specifically employed to implement a patient's own drug scheme in the hospital. We're so far only on 5 wards, but we've got plans to roll out fairly quickly from there.
The pharmacy technician's role I see as vital, and we must develop that over the forthcoming years. Recently we've introduced the patient's own drug scheme where we have a number of technicians who spend increasing amount of their time with patients on the ward.
We have a dedicated training hour every Wednesday. There are numerous courses which we can go on both within the hospital and external courses which the department are happy to fund us to go on. Training development is really a constant process as well, by which we try and learn off our sort of more esteemed colleagues.
We have invested a lot of time and effort in developing training packages for staff. An example being that in the last 18 months we have created a half full-time equivalent post who is dedicated to coordinating the training of staff within the department. In addition, in the last 18 months, we have secured a dedicated training hour for pharmacy staff. We developed a formulary pharmacist post approaching 3 years ago. This was done in conjunction with the local primary care group, as it was at the time, now Primary Care Trust, because we saw that there was an important link that needed to be made as the role of primary care evolved. Now, when we did this, we appointed both a formulary pharmacist for the trust and the primary care group appointed simultaneously in the same interview process a formulary pharmacist for themselves. Over the years, this has evolved so that the links between us on prescribing issues are getting ever stronger, because we would like to develop a seamless care for patients, certainly on the prescribing side. The philosophy of the department is to serve the patient. Everything we do should be geared towards that goal. Every bit of clinical pharmacy that we undertake should be geared towards that goal. All the supply activity that we undertake should be geared towards that goal.
Anyone coming here would find that they got a broad range of experience with regard to the work they would do in the pharmacy department. Yet it's not too large that you would have to specialise in one department or another.
Roles are evolving as the needs of the service evolve. At the moment, we have a number of clinical pharmacists who spend virtually all their time working with consultants on their ward rounds. 4 or 5 years ago, we maybe attended 4 ward rounds with consultants each week. Currently, we're attending up to 40. The vision and the focus of the department is to ever increase the focus on the patient care side of things, which is to ensure that the patient gets the optimal pharmaceutical care that we can give them and that the drug therapy really reflects their true needs.
The most positive experiences I tend to find are when you actually make a difference to a patient's care. That's a major difference to in my previous work, where you see the patient, you speak to the doctor, you speak to the nurses, and you can actually see a patient improve by work that you've actually done.
Every member of staff should be able to believe that they are in a position to deliver a gold standard service. All the training that we undertake should help enable them to deliver a gold standard service. So when they go home at night, they believe that they have delivered the best possible quality care to the patient.
In my experience, I found it to be a very friendly hospital. It has a very nice atmosphere when you walk in. My department certainly equally is very friendly. It has a relaxed atmosphere, yet a professional atmosphere.
The uniqueness of this trust is the fact that it is a tight, friendly, compact organisation where people know each other well and work together well.
My name is David Henderson. I'm a physiotherapist. I work as an extended scope physiotherapist in the therapy services department. I'm specifically interested or concerned with back triage assessment clinic.
My job, I'm a Senior 1 occupational therapist, so my role is to have a clinical caseload. So I work on orthopaedics, surgical and the pain management programme, but I also have responsibilities for management as well, heading up a team.
I've been therapy services manager for 4 years now, and huge change came about when I first came into post, which was obviously to integrate the occupational therapy and the physiotherapy services. And over really past those 4 years, I've seen enormous change. I think the main vision was to ensure that services were integrated, were flexible, and were working in the direction that I could foresee that things would be going in the future. So I was preparing staff in their foundation to be able to cope with change now. It came as a great challenge to come and pull together and integrate the occupational therapy and the physiotherapy services. I'd previously worked in an integrated environment, and I'm an occupational therapist by background. So this post here in a sort of medium-sized trust particularly appealed to me with the option of taking services forward in an environment that would sort of allow me to do that, really.
Well, I think the creation of this particular post is what attracted me to the department. I know the future holds potential other extended scope roles working towards peripheral joint specialties, so maybe working with one of the consultants to look particularly at knee problems or lower limb problems, and then possibly also looking at shoulder and upper limb problems.
I think it would be a good place to consider coming to work because we are still a friendly department, and the hospital obviously hasn't changed a great deal in size, so it is easier to get to know where you're working, to build up relationships with the staff that you're working with. In the OT department specifically, we've now become more integrated with the physio department, and therefore we are able to work closer with them. We are able to have training sessions with them, and I believe that will result in better patient care from a therapy point of view. We've built quite a good training service within the department. We have an in-service programme for all staff, particularly a strong programme for junior staff. We certainly don't throw junior staff in at the deep end. They come in and have a programme to help them be supported. Every year I sit down with my manager, who looks at what training needs that my team have. So from there we're able to work out what courses would be best for the team to go on.
The department are very supportive of further training. I've already done a 2-day course at Southampton University specific to anatomy and cervical and lumbar anatomy. And that was very interesting. Recently got an initiative in our intermediate care teams where the therapists there work 4 days a week, but they work extended days, so they work into the evenings, and that's to fit with their nursing colleagues to be able to provide 7 days a week, 7 till 7 services for staff. So our rehabilitation staff that support the qualified therapists do 7-day-a-week work. The idea of this clinic is that we triage the patient very soon. So in fact, so far, I think the most people have had to wait is 2 or 3 weeks to see one of the triage team. The triage assessment is a detailed assessment where we're trying to decide where best we can manage this patient's problem. I came to Winchester from college in Exeter, and that was about 13 years ago. And since then I've worked my way up from being a junior to being a senior 2 to being a senior 1, and was lucky each time to find there was a vacancy for me to move into. And since becoming a senior 1, I then went off and went on maternity leave. And when I went off on maternity leave, the options of coming back or not coming back were discussed with me. And I really wanted to come back to keep my hand in, to keep my practice going. But I didn't really want to come back full time. So on discussion with my manager, it was decided that we could look at doing a job share option, which is what we agreed to and which is what's been running for the last 18 months. And that's been quite successful. We've had 2 people recently, 2 physiotherapists that have come through the return to practice, and we've sent them on a course and supported them with mentoring into the department. We very much want to encourage people to come back. What we're hoping for in the future, and there certainly will be the opportunity, is with our local workforce confederation and in partnership with nursing, I think we'll be able to provide more opportunity for return to practice. If I was saying to people, why come and work at Winchester, I'd say it is a friendly department. We have a very forward-thinking manager who has lots of ideas of where we should be going to and how we should be working. I think the team are motivated to take those forward, and therefore who knows where we're going to end up in the future. We're looking for people with ideas. We're looking for people that are happy to work in an integrated environment, that share our philosophy, which really is around integration, about flexibility. Staff that feel very secure and confident in their profession and feel proud of their profession, and because of that feel very comfortable to work in more flexible ways. But I think genuinely people are quite proud of this hospital who work here, and I think that's what you pick up as a visitor. You can see that people really enjoy their job and care for the people that they're working for.